All right, let me begin again. So, like I said, I'm D-Wiz. I'm one of the primary crypto guys in the Discord server. And like I said, I just want to give a little quick overview of myself and my experiences within crypto and just how this all came about, how I became, learning how I have and been teaching how I have relating to the crypto space. So first and foremost, I began in cryptocurrency in 2017. And let me backtrack. 2016 is when I first heard of Bitcoin, right? 2016, I was still in the military on my way to Korea. I was on a plane, and those little brochures in the back of the seat. I was reading. Said they can't understand. Can y'all hear me well? Give me a thumbs in the chat, a one in the chat, something like that. If y'all can hear me pretty well. Somebody said I'm muffled.
Yeah, we could hear you, Wiz. It's just it sounds like you just a little backed away a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, let me try to pull this closer.
But we can hear you clearly. It's just a little muffled.
Okay, can y'all hear me clearly though?
Yes.
All right. Okay, it sounds like I'm on speaker. Yeah, I'll work on that. I'm gonna try to get a headset so this will be, definitely clearer. But let me get back to the story. So, like I said, I was on a plane headed to Korea, and I seen one of those brochures in the back of the seats on the airplane, and it said, it had some information relating to Bitcoin, and I was intrigued. I was like, this could be something. I really didn't understand it at that point in time, but yeah, I can't help it right now, Rosemary, about being muffled. But yeah, I couldn't understand it too much at the time, but I wanted to, dig into it more when I got to Korea. But Korea happened, and if you've been in the military and you've been to Korea, people start to party and stuff like that, and then you just lose track of things. But to speed up in time, I came back to the States in 2017, and I started hearing everywhere. I started hearing Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that, and I was like, man, let me look back into this thing. So I started researching again, and then I started digging into what the capabilities of it was, and I was more intrigued then, and then I found out that I could actually invest into it. So I began, looking into different places where I can invest. One of my first exchanges I ever used was KuCoin and Binance, right? So I started buying Bitcoin there, and what I didn't realize until probably some months ago, I was like, Bitcoin was my actual first asset investment, right? Sounds muffled and not clear. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that later. I can't do much about it right now. But yeah, so Bitcoin was my first asset that I actually invested into before any stocks, before any real estate assets, anything. So, and that was probably one of my wisest decisions to do that. But in 2017, as I started, digging more into crypto and learning more about the other assets, because during that time frame, what was big was Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Litecoin. Those were the top 3 cryptocurrencies that everybody was interested into. And at the end of 2017, we saw the height of Bitcoin go to roughly almost $20,000 coin, and it was going crazy. Not as crazy as it is now, but a lot of people was aware of what Bitcoin was, right? So in January of 2018 is when we saw the crash, and that crash took me out. Took me out the game. I ain't gonna lie to you. There was a lot of people that that proclaimed they were hollering and they hollers and hold on for dear life, you know, that term HODL, like a lot of those people became hollers because they weren't quick enough to get out. Now I don't fault them for not getting out because I got out and I wish I had stayed in. But that was probably a terrible decision, but I didn't know that at the time. Because during that time, Bitcoin was still very, very speculative. And it still is. But during that time, nobody, you heard the term saying like, this is magic internet money, it's not gonna be anything, or, you know, that's monopoly money, this is not gonna be anything, like there's no growth in this, there's no possibility this is gonna be like a global currency or a store of value, right? But, you know, fast forward to where we are now, and you're seeing like the global adoption by countries like El Salvador, and then I forget the African country, somewhere in Central Africa, that just adopted Bitcoin as legal tender. So, you know, you speed forward to this time, and you see now that, you know, what was being developed, you know, over time is coming into fruition, right? So let me look at this real quick, 1 second. So as time went along in late 2019, leading into 2020, I started revisiting, you know, some of my small crypto holdings I had, and then started researching about what was going on in the space again. And then I realized that so much had changed. You know, 2019, 2020, we were starting to hear the rumblings about DeFi. We started hearing the rumblings about all these different facets of crypto. You hear about the metaverses and the NFTs and stuff like that. So all that was coming about, but that was nowhere to be seen in 2017. You know, so the space had changed so much. I was like, oh, this is like serious. So in 2020, in March of 2020, you can look back on the charts, and let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so back in 2020, March of 2020, can y'all see my screen?
Yep, I can see your screen, bro.
Yeah, you can see it.
All right, so let me pull this up real quick. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, back in March of 2020, we've seen this significant pullback right here in Bitcoin, and that dragged the market down with it. That dragged the entire crypto market down with it. Bitcoin reached a point of like $3,800 a coin, which was a prime opportunity to take advantage of that price correction. But it was following in a similar sentiment as what we look at right now. Like you look at the other global financial markets, like, you know, the SPY or the NASDAQ, and you see how the correlation with crypto or Bitcoin is with those stock assets, right? So when this occurred, I started getting extremely more interested. So I got back into digging in and studying about crypto even more during this time. And then I started to find out about all the capabilities of staking, which we'll talk about staking. We could talk about it later on in this class, but we'll definitely touch on it in depth on like a singular class later on. But I started learning about staking, where you could reach, you know, get 1,000% APY in different assets, as long as you get into them early and things of that nature. So I was really intrigued, and I didn't expect the space to you know, grow so fast. But let me cut that short. I don't want to just tell y'all just completely my story, but that's how I kind of got into crypto. And then I began getting into trading options. I started trading forex because I felt like I needed to be more technical, and that may not have been the process that I needed, but I got into a few forex groups, and I started learning about technical analysis, and then I came back to trading options and using some of the things, some of the technical skills that I learned to incorporate that in all those spectrums, whether it be stocks, crypto, or forex, right? But let's get a little bit more in depth with Bitcoin in itself. So, and before I go forward, anybody got any questions besides what I just talked about? No questions? All right, we're gonna go forward. We're gonna talk about Bitcoin in itself. So Bitcoin, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is, it is the, how I say it, Bitcoin is a digital asset, it is a potential global currency. It is one of the scarcest assets on the planet that can be used as a form of currency or store of value. And it may not be pretty, and I know a lot of people, may be thinking, I don't really want to hear about this introduction to Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing right now? It looks ugly, right? But in reality, Bitcoin is doing.
I got a question real quick, D'Angelo.
Go ahead, bro.
With you like talking about the origin of like Bitcoin, why would Bitcoin be like a store of value? Why do you believe that in long term that cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in itself could potentially be the world's currency or not be the world's currency? Like, why do you believe that it's an asset? I know that in the infrastructure bill is now deemed as a security, but why? What are your thoughts behind that, if that makes sense?
So I believe that Bitcoin could be the global currency because look at, some of the actions, and I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist at times, but if you look at some of the actions that's been taken recently with this war with, and this is just one example, but the war with Ukraine and Russia, the U.S. and the NATO allies used sanctions that would kind of like attempt to cripple Russia and, in a sense, and trying to like kind of like cripple them in a sense without inflicting like a physical war. And they're using the US dollar to do that because the US dollar is the global currency, right? Now, what that does is a couple things, right? That gives visibility to the rest of the world to understand that, they could potentially do this to us, me and the US, and using the US dollar, right? If we get on their bad side, they could attempt to cripple our infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? So the rest of the world is on watch, and they like, yeah, I don't know about this US dollar. It's very inflationary. My dollar goes a lot less every day, and especially in the current market. But when you look at it in the likes of Bitcoin, like I said before previously, Bitcoin is and is becoming the most scarcest asset on earth, and to include more scarce than gold. And I'll touch on that real quick, and I hope I answered your question. Did I answer that, Moody?
Yeah, you answered it. I came up with another question, but definitely answered it. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna go into this correlation with Bitcoin and gold as a store of value, right? So, for forever, gold has been looked at as an asset, and at one point, gold backed the U.S. dollar, which it no longer does, and the U.S. dollar is backed by who knows what now. So it's kind of just floating in there, and that's why we're able to print quote unquote print money so much. And but like I said, with Bitcoin, you don't have that privilege to do, because there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And when I describe the correlation with Bitcoin and gold is, so, or not the correlation, but more so like the similarities, right? With Bitcoin, you have to mine Bitcoin just as like you would go mine for gold, you know. So, and this is the concept of what proof of work is. Instead of you physically going into a mine and, you know, with picks and shovels and digging into the earth to find this rare item, you're using computer power to decipher an algorithm, which uses a form of power to retrieve Bitcoin. So that's where you get the actual work from when you think of proof of work relating to Bitcoin, right? But then the other similarity is the scarcity of gold in comparison to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is, like I said, is only 21 million. They're still mining for gold in places, right? They're still finding gold in different places. They've been doing it year after year for hundreds of years, right? But with Bitcoin, the last Bitcoin will be mined in, I believe, in 2140 roughly, right? And so in the coming years, as Bitcoin is being adopted more and more, you'll see, because right now many people believe that Bitcoin is deflationary. It's not quite deflationary, but as we go through these 4-year cycles, which are called halving cycles in Bitcoin, and that's what we're seeing right now. With the price declining, this happens every 4-year cycle after a Bitcoin halving. And what I mean by the Bitcoin halving is only so much Bitcoin is being pushed out after every halving. Like half of it is being pushed out, which creates scarcity, which in turn creates a deflationary mechanism, right? But as of now, we don't have that true deflationary mechanism because we don't have enough wide adoption yet, which, as you've seen the past 2 years, you've seen these major corporations adopt Bitcoin like crazy, meaning like Elon Musk, Tesla, MicroStrategy, and then most recently, some major corporations, I think it was McDonald's, Walmart, they're trying to adopt, Starbucks trying to adopt the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is a whole nother case. But Moody, drop your question, bro.
I got so.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, brother. No, go ahead.
No, what was that, Moody?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah, bro. I'm more than positive, brother.
All right. No, you good. So, Wes, I wanted to get your opinion. I mean, what's your viewpoint as, like, you know, I see Bitcoin as a, you know, of course, a traditional currency and, you know, a medium of exchange, and a store of value versus like Ether, which runs on a programmable blockchain,
Right.
that you're able to create applications, including, you know, NFTs, which we see a lot of, smart contracts, and it also runs on a DeFi network. So, you know, the difference that I see is that you're able to produce more. I think of Ether is more of like a marketplace for crypto versus like Bitcoin is just a currency, you know, because its programmable code is so old, you know, it can't be changed. But Ether can be ever evolving because the code can adapt. So what's your take as far as the longevity with Bitcoin versus the Ether blockchain?
So what I believe is this, and now I want to tell you, so Bitcoin can be actually changed, you know, through what is the Bitcoin I forget the name of it, but it's like Bitcoin protocol, something like that. They can actually change how Bitcoin operates, right? But I don't see that ever happening. I see Bitcoin really becoming just a store of value. I think people will potentially adopt it to some degree because of the Bitcoin Lightning Network for currency exchange. But in reality, with it being so scarce, who really wants to go and buy, Starbucks with Bitcoin? When in my eyes, 10 years from now, and this is like on a low scale, I see Bitcoin being at minimum $500,000. That's minimum. Like that's worst case scenario. You know what I mean? So, but in comparison with Ethereum, so Ethereum, I'm very hopeful on Ethereum. But what I tell you is Ethereum has a lot of competitors, right? And some of the issues with ETH is the gas fees. Like it's blatant. Like the gas fees are extreme. Right. Now they're trying to find ways to mitigate that. Will they ever see? Who knows? But there's a balance between, do I want to pay these gas fees or do I want true decentralization? Do I want the fastest network? Do I want what is it? Do I want it to truly scale? Like, so there's different aspects in that, but to go back on Bitcoin, like I said, it can be changed, right? So I think it was late last year or in the middle of last year, they had this the Taproot upgrade on Bitcoin, which actually allows Bitcoin to develop smart contracts on a proof of work protocol. So Bitcoin actually could do some of the things. I ain't gonna say all the things. I don't know if it'll be as effective as these layer ones like Ethereum, Luna, and all these other ones, but it can actually develop smart contracts on Bitcoin because of that Taproot upgrade, right? Do I see that actually happening? I doubt it happens, but it does have the capability. And Bitcoin also could, 100 years from now, if people said, Bitcoin is using too much energy, which 100 years from now it shouldn't be for certain, because they're trying to mitigate it by any means that they can. But Bitcoin could change to proof of stake, and for those who don't know what proof of stake is where proof of stake is like Ethereum, where instead of you have like physical computers mining for cryptocurrency to, uncover a block, you have people staking a particular cryptocurrency, and those who stake earn that said cryptocurrency in the process, and overall it helps the network to contribute to make it run a little bit more easier. Did that answer, or did that give you some perspective on my perspective, bro?
Yeah, bro. I mean, yeah, it's just your opinion, your perspective, definitely. With the Lightning Network, if that's possible with Bitcoin, because that's the issue, right? It's kind of like you got to choose your poison. With Ether, it's gas fees, but with Bitcoin, it's not the fastest network. So transactions, of course, right. It's not going to be like compared to like a Visa or a MasterCard who processes millions of transactions a second. So like in that case, no, it may not be used for that type of everyday transaction, but maybe like I think Bitcoin Cash, which is used more of like a small transaction, like we do every day on the Lightning Network, that may be something suitable versus Bitcoin more of like a bigger transaction. When you think of like buying a car or a house, that takes a couple of days to process versus you going to the store and getting a coffee or something, and it's right then and there.
Right, exactly. And now the Bitcoin Lightning Network can process 1 million transactions, which is the most I've seen by any cryptocurrency. Which when I read that, that made me say, and I told Moody this, I was like, I don't have enough Bitcoin. Because that just opened my eyes to understand that, there's tens of thousands of other cryptocurrencies. There's hundreds being developed every day, right? Some and 99% of them will go to zero. That is point blank period. So who was that? Jordan jumped on and said Bitcoin is going to zero. No, 99% of the other cryptocurrencies, they will go to zero if they don't have a technological advancing concept or project that's going to move or push the space forward. And that's my opinion, but I don't think anybody would think otherwise. So, but we're gonna keep going. Moody, did you have something, bro?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of questions. Just in case like some new people don't understand like how to invest into cryptocurrency. But I also have you got the chart pulled up and I see that you have the monthly chart, right? And me just understanding candlesticks, I see that we can potentially finally create in a bigger outlook a real new lower low, right? On that monthly chart, taking out all those candles if we
Yeah.
take out all those wicks, right?
All these,
So yes, sir.
yeah.
So with let's say me or potentially a member of somebody that invested in the cryptocurrency, let's put two scenarios. That may not, well, not cryptocurrency, Bitcoin may have invested into Bitcoin around, let's say 26,000, or let's say 24,000 to 26,000, right? And let's say someone else on the second scenario, invested into cryptocurrency around 33,000 or 32,000. Um, how would you, what would you, with your knowledge of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and your experience, right? Because you experienced some of the havings, right? You experienced a run up and consolidation and also some downside movement, right? What would be some good advice to those two scenario individuals on what to do? One person that may be down, would you dollar cost average? Well, I would like your insight on it. And say like the person that still may be up, what would you tell that person? And just like D'Angelo, just want to chime in to like what he had said when he told me that he didn't believe he had enough Bitcoin. I also agreed with him too and understood that. And my view of Bitcoin or Satoshi, right? I care about the value of it, but what I mostly care about is the accumulation and how much I have of it, right? And before you answer those questions, I also want to say you answered my second question that I had asked about like the you believing it can be a currency. Why is because on how you touched on gold, and if we remember history, gold was a form of currency as well, and Avery had put out an amazing video that showed us the new world orders and how that they come about and how new countries come in power and as well new currency as well become in power and in place and become the form of the world's currency as well. So I appreciate that insight, but also wanted to just add that into it. And if you need me to repeat the questions again with the scenarios, just let me know.
I think
And I'll drop.
I think I got it, but to add, I think I got it, but to add to what you were saying, you know, a global currency has an expiration. You know, a currency, any currency, it has an expiration. You know, you look back in history, you know, as time progresses, we evolve, and our need for a innovative currency always trumps the previous one and what we use it for. You know, so at some point, at one point, we were people use large rocks, not gold, just large rocks as a form of currency, and then during a time period, people use the cowrie shells as a form of currency in Africa, right? So now we're here, we go to paper money and we went through gold, and you know, now we're here where we transacting digitally. So cryptocurrency is like, it's almost inevitable, right? But to answer
Right.
a question relating to
Before you answer the question, just to throw something out there that you made me think of. When you went to the global currency coming into paper value, paper money,
yeah,
you just made me think about cryptocurrency, right? So with us having a paper value, you got to also think about, what they show us. And when I say they, I just mean the government or the powers that be. I'm pretty sure we all go to Blockbuster, David Buster's, right? Or Andretti Sports, or like an arcade event where you have to take your dollars, your fiat money, and you have to exchange it, right? Just like I'm exchanging Bitcoin for another currency, right? So when you're in that store, you exchange your dollar amount for a token, and now of course, they'll have it in a card, right? Because we continue to get innovative and we're in the digital world. But back then, they will give you tokens, right? Like I'm from New York. I remember when I couldn't use a quarter, and I used to have to give $1 to the dude in the pizzeria to get one of their tokens to play the game, right? And that's how it is in like David Buster's. So you can think of cryptocurrency as well in that form where you're exchanging. Oh, well, I'm sorry, I shouldn't explain it that way. The way I should explain it is a stable coin in cryptocurrency that's pegged to the dollar. A stable coin does not fluctuate, right? So basically, when you're exchanging your dollar for that token to be able to play that game, it's the same. It's what all of these currency are trying to do and become a form of payment, or anything that you see when you see the adoption of, hey, Gucci is now accepting um cryptocurrency, or you see AMC is now accepting Dogecoin, Litecoin, things of that nature, where you have these whales and you have these institutions as well as regular people, right, that are trying to close and bridge that wealth gap that accumulated some of these tokens. Now they can swap that out. And last thing, real quick, just think of Elon Musk. We a lot of us praise Elon Musk and look at him for innovative things. Elon Musk made more money in less than 90 days with Bitcoin than he ever did in his life. Matter of fact, I could compare it to Tesla. He made more money and profit with Bitcoin than he ever sold a Tesla, right? So you gotta keep those kind of things in mind and understand, why are people accumulating Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin falling so hard and they're regulating it? And you have Yellen trying to tax unrealized gains and things of that nature. But my bad, bro. I know you got a question to answer, but
no,
I just wanted to.
I still got your
Yeah,
question in mind though. I still got it in mind. Somebody said something?
No, I was gonna go ahead and let you go ahead and answer that. I ain't trying to take over the meeting, but yeah, go ahead.
I got you. So I answered the question relating to the two individuals one who bought in higher than the current value, and somebody that bought in a little bit lower than the current value, right? That's right, Moody?
Correct.
All right. So this is not financial advice, first and foremost. But how I would see these situations is, right? And what I'll say is, you see this candle here on November of last year. The high was $69,000. When I tell people that Bitcoin at $69,000 is still cheap, like I believe that wholeheartedly. So when somebody buys at 69,000, yeah, it hurts. It hurts to feel like, yeah, I bought the top, or you come back down to that person that bought around 32,000, 33,000. Yeah, it still hurts to see that the price value is significantly lower than where you got in, right? Like that hurts. Like you're gonna feel that emotion no matter what. But what I tell you is to always zoom out. Go back here. Go back into time. what can you see the trend is with Bitcoin? Overall, it's going up. You have these hills, these mountains, and then you have these valleys where it comes back down to a period of accumulation or the bear market or crypto winter or what you want to call it. And then you have another hill that comes up, and then you have another valley. This is just a flow of adoption. You have a lot of people intrigued. It goes back down because some FUD for whatever reason. Then it ramps back up, people get depressed, it ramps back up, and then it goes back down to a valley. And then you have like crazy adoption, people talking about it, and we run back up, and so on and so forth. So the person that purchased that 32,000, 33,000, like you at that point in time, if you truly believe in cryptocurrency and its longevity, and you zoom out at a chart like this, like there's better charts than this because you can go all the way back to 2010. You'll see that if you hold on, like you will win in the end, right? That person that's sitting there above. Now, the person that was sitting at 32, 33,000, they're down there. Like, just zoom out. Just zoom out. That's what I would advise you. Zoom out and understand what you're investing into. Like, is this what did you get into Bitcoin in particular for a quick flip? And if that was your mindset, then you probably should learn more about chart reading and the technicals if you're looking into a quick flip. But if you're buying into Bitcoin, as I would assume, you want to look at it as a long-term investment, meaning that we could be in this bear market for the rest of 2022, right? And the beginning of 2023 or longer, you know what I'm saying? But you have to look at it and zoom out and understand that the price will begin to rise again. And just how we had these peaks here to go up and this one here and to go up and come back down, that's what happens in the Bitcoin cycle, the 4-year cycle. Now, for the individual that is currently still in profit, how long did this person get in the profit? Like, how long have they been in the profit? Did they buy Bitcoin on this candle back in December of 2020? And they watched all this go up,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And come back down. If they rolled all this, you're a rider, because you could have trimmed some off the top. Now, I'm not ashamed to say that I don't take some profits on any asset. If I bought here and I bought a significant amount of Bitcoin, right? And it runs up to 64,000 or 68,000, 69,000. Like, you can literally trim some from the top. Like, there's various things that you can do that's a little bit more advanced than what we talking about here. Like, we can look in the bond against asset. Like, there's so many other things you could do to make your money, make your Bitcoin make money for you. Period.
Yeah. If I could add real quick, because I know you're also talking about like long-term investment, and this is something that we can definitely do in another class and possibly teach. But also short-term investment in cryptocurrency is very lucrative as well. I want to shout out D'Angelo. When he would see me on the charts and things of that nature, he will always encourage me to go trade cryptocurrency and forex, right? And find a platform. And he helped me find a platform and things of that nature. And he'll always break it down where it's like, hey, Moody, how should I put this? Hey, Moody, if you're making money, right, and you're being profitable doing what you're doing, put some money into this account. And what you can also do is trade it. You can read the candlesticks, right? One thing that he taught me and that I love to do is trade Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And I just trade the range on supply and demand, where you can make a substantial amount of money, where if you have an extra $1,000 that you're able to lose, I don't say invest because anything can happen, right? Because when he was saying about long-term investment, if you're looking at the chart, you'll see that you'll win in the long term. But not everybody has time to wait for that profit, right? And that's why the smart money always wins because they can bleed and hold, and continue to average down. But long story short, you can take $1,000, $2,000, and drop it into, let's say like Ethereum. When you see Ethereum at 1,800, 2,100, and ride that thing, just look at the chart. It always touches back at 3,000. It always goes back to 28,000. Take profit there. It's just like well, I don't want to say options. It's just like stocks and just trading candlesticks, right? If you know how to get on trading views and read the candlesticks, and you're also taking our classes, this is something that you can also take advantage of as well. And also you can short it. If there's a bear market going on, you can just sell Bitcoin. And I know that that sounds a little weird if you don't have Bitcoin, but that's just the terminology on that side. Basically, in options, it's called shorting, and that side is called selling, right? But you can definitely take advantage of that as well, and take it to a smaller time frame. But yeah, my bad, D.
You good, what's up? But I want to add on to that question that you asked previously for the person that's in the hole right now on Bitcoin. Like, if you truly believe in Bitcoin, its longevity, you should practice dollar cost averaging. You should practice dollar cost averaging on your initial investment. Like, you shouldn't go in and Bitcoin's at 65,000. You like, yeah, I'm gonna buy Bitcoin at 65,000. No, that is not good practice, because as you can see where we are right now, right? So you want to put some in at a time. When we take significant dives like we are now, I don't suggest piling in right now at this current moment. I suggest dollar cost averaging and getting a lower cost basis. So if you made a purchase at 65,000, buy a little more to lower your cost basis, and continue to do that until you're significant. You're good with your holdings that you currently have. So that's what I would suggest relating to that. Who was that had a question? Somebody had a question.
You got it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. So what's your take? I don't want to get too political, but crypto is a decentralized network.
I think I lost you. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think we lost him.
You lost him?
No, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Lost you.
Yeah. All right. So I'll start over. So I was saying, what's your take on, crypto is supposed to be decentralized, which means no one person has control over it. But we see like the government is trying to regulate it, which is the total opposite, right, of what the goal of crypto is. So if that happens, it's kind of I guess you could look at it as a good thing and a negative thing, because it's kind of like we're going back to the old system again of having one entity control of our currency, and we can see how that has happened now with the stock market and the overall dollar, how it fluctuates. So if that happens, what is your theory? Do you still have the same positive theory on crypto and Bitcoin, or are you more of like things could probably change?
So to answer that, so I do still have the positive outlook on crypto in general, but Bitcoin specifically, because when you look at it, right, regulation of these cryptocurrency assets is needed. It's needed to some degree, right? And just because they regulate these assets, including Bitcoin, doesn't mean that they control the asset. So like with the US dollar, the reason that you know, they're able to, you know, regulate the dollar and do whatever they can and control it, and it's centralized, is because they hold most of it, right? And they can make more. With Bitcoin, you can't do that, you know? So like the people that own Bitcoin right now, like we don't know who owns how much and who owns the most or what entity does. But what we do know is, you know, there's not one wallet specifically that has 51% ownership of Bitcoin that's allocated on the market. So that makes it truly still decentralized, no matter what the regulation is. Because at the end of the day, I believe the governments are going to do whatever works best in their favor, and they will try to push some harsh regulations or some unfavorable regulations for their benefit, whether it is to suppress the price, like we've seen, or they won't push any regulation to suppress the price because now they can push fear into the market. Like I have conspiracies, you know what I'm saying, relating to what all the possibilities are, but I don't see regulation as a detriment to cryptocurrency because they don't own it. You know what I'm saying? They don't own enough of it to say we control this and we control how we're going to maneuver with it and how the world should use it. And that's the beauty of decentralization. That makes sense?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, bro.
Okay. Let me check the chat. Somebody sorry, joined a few minutes ago. I know I'm super late. Which platform good to trade crypto? Like day trade, like we do derivatives. I want to scalp some crypto. I have long crypto. I don't trade just down there and keep adding fractions to them on every bit. So I'll answer this now. So there's a few platforms or different ways you can trade crypto. Whether you trade the individual spot like token in itself, or you can use 3x leverage, you can do futures trading. So there's various platforms you can use. You could trade it in Forex. So what I particularly like to use is KuCoin, but if you look inside the Discord server, there's somebody named, I think the name is Robbie. They use a platform called BitGet, I believe the name of it is, where you can use leverage trading. Then I think it's Bybit, you can do leverage trading, but I prefer KuCoin because you can do leverage trading on there. You can do futures trading. You can trade bull and bear tokens, which are triple leverage, which are almost like just buying the token in itself, but it's like 3x leverage in a sense. So, but that's on KuCoin. And then you can also, like one of my other preferred methods, and Moody was hitting bangers the past couple of days, but in Forex, like Forex is probably my favorite way to trade crypto. Like, and a lot of people that are in the Forex market, they much rather trade currency pairs, but there's a lot of money to be made trading crypto in Forex. And this thing about to hit 29,000. Y'all watching those numbers? I know I see it. It's beautiful to me though. That's opportunity.
Tell me to go to 28,000 when I wake up.
So I hope I answered that question though. And we'll just keep dropping questions in the chat, but we're gonna keep going on. I wanted to cover the different types of cryptocurrencies. Specifically, you have two different types, but then there's an umbrella of tokens that sit underneath, or coins that sit underneath these types. So you have coins and you have tokens, right? With coins, those are your projects, I call them, that are built upon. So when I say coins, most of the time I'm speaking of those projects that are like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Luna, AVAX, Stellar Lumens, XRP, those are coins, right? And with coins, you build upon those with applications, whether it be applications or you add tokens to circulate within that on that infrastructure of that coin or blockchain, I would say, right? So with tokens, you're not building something that can be used upon. You're the actual vehicle that's riding upon the blockchain. So that's what tokens are, right? So you have coins and you have tokens. Coins are extremely more difficult to build and require extreme amount of funding and expertise to code properly, provide security for, they're a lot more difficult to create. Tokens, that's why you see hundreds of thousands of tokens being created every day, because like I could literally go create a token in 2 minutes and I could go buy it, sell it, send it to my best friend if I wanted to right now. You don't have that ability with a coin. It takes time, it takes development. But in addition to that, we're going to dig into, excuse me, other different types of coins or sectors that fall upon what a coin or a token is, right? So then you have layer ones, layer twos, and layer zeros. Now there may be some other layers, but these are the ones that I'm familiar with, right? So a layer one would be those coins that I mentioned, Ethereum. These are your application layer projects where you can build marketplaces, you can build websites, you can build a decentralized exchanges, decentralized applications upon. So Ethereum, Cardano, XRP, Stellar Lumens, AVAX, Luna, just to name a few, right? Excuse me. Those are your layer ones. And on a later time, I'm gonna dig into explaining, like I'll explain an analogy that I taught when I tell Moody all the time. I told Moody about when I relate blockchains, layer ones, layer zeros, layer twos with the national highway system. And this is how I view it, but I'll talk about that. We may have time, I'll talk about it today, but I'm gonna get past it now. Then you have layer zeros. Layer zeros are their blockchains also, they're coins that connect other blockchains directly so you can transact seamlessly, right? Through a multi-chain function or through a, what do they call it? Is it omni-chain? I can't remember off the top of my head, but it gives like a multi-chain function where you can transact assets from one blockchain to another seamlessly. And that's what Polkadot does. There's another project, what is the name of it? I'm just say Polkadot right now because I can't think of the other one. But Polkadot is one that's well known, and I foresee Polkadot being around for a very long time, because in the future, people are going to want interoperability, meaning they're going to want to be able to transact from blockchain to blockchain. They want to be able to go to a store, spend their currency, or use this currency wherever they are. They don't want to go to a store and be like, all right, I want to pay in Stellar Lumens, but this store only accepts XRP or something like that, right? So that's why you have a blockchain that sits in the middle or sits beneath all of these other blockchains that intertwine them all. So it creates a connection where you can transact from one end of a blockchain to the other end of another blockchain. And that's the function of a layer zero. Then you have layer twos. Layer twos are like polymatic or matic, meaning matic sits on the Ethereum blockchain, right? It sits on the Ethereum blockchain, but what it leaves Ethereum from is extreme gas fees. It allows the same function of what the tokens do on Ethereum, but it allows you to function on the Ethereum blockchain for a lot cheaper fees and faster, right? And that's what the function of most layer twos do. So on Ethereum alone, it has a ton of layer twos. And to name a few, you have Matic, you have Immutable X, which is the NFT marketplace, which has gasless transaction fees. So like you can go on that marketplace and instead of buying an NFT for $400 and have a gas fee for $50 using straight Ethereum, you have no gas fees on Immutable X. But then you also have Arbitrum, Optimism. Those are also layer 2 projects that are developing on Ethereum that will probably stand the test of time, because long as Ethereum has this gas fee issue, it will need to alleviate some pressure from people constantly transacting them. They'll move to layer 2s as an easier function and a cheaper functionality. So, but that's the layer 1s, layer 2s, and layer 0 projects and the description of. Anybody got any questions about those? No questions? All right. So now we'll go into various types of utility tokens, right? With utility tokens, how would I describe? Well, let me see if I can go on CoinGecko. I'll find some good utility tokens. Y'all can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right, so majority, actually I'm gonna go with that too, but majority of the top 15 projects in cryptocurrency by market cap are fall within that frame of layer 1, layer 0, layer 2, like almost all of them. Bitcoin, layer 1 Ethereum, stablecoin, which I'll talk about that. Layer 1, stablecoin, layer 1.
Hey, D'Angelo.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I was gonna say that I was texting you, but I should have put it in the chat. But I was gonna say, because I know you got a lot of browsers pulled up and stuff like that. Like when you're explaining like the layer 1s, layer 0s, and everything that you're talking about, like a blockchain, can you go to Google or something like that, like just to pull up an imagery or something like that? Like what you're doing right now is exactly what I was gonna say. Like, you know how you're going through the currency, just in case someone doesn't know like what a blockchain may look like, or what we pretend that it looks like, you know, because it may confuse somebody or something like that, just to give them a better understanding of it. And as well, I believe it'll give you some extra um edge to, like, you know, teach us a little better as well. And you're doing a great job teaching us. I'm just saying, like, because your details are so dope, like when you be like showing me things. So I was gonna say, if you could just point it out and show it to them as well, because I know that this is just like a little introduction.
Right. Yeah, no, I got you, bro. So speaking about utility tokens, and I appreciate that. Utility tokens could be your layer 1s, layer 2s, layer 0s. They provide a function. They provide either technological advancement, some type of entertainment, some type of function. They're not just a currency in a sense where they're just here to transact. So I just Googled utility tokens here, and you see that's crypto utility tokens. You got the Binance coin, right? With BNB functions as a layer 1, which is also a blockchain coin. But then with BNB, you also have smart contract capability, meaning that it has BNB, Binance Smart Chain or BNB coin or whatever. It is like a carbon copy of Ethereum, but with less transaction fees, right? And a lot of meme tokens and trash tokens to include that operate on that blockchain, right? So that would be a utility coin or token, right? Then, like I mentioned before, Polygon Matic, it's a scaling solution for Ethereum, right? Because of the high fees on Ethereum, right? It allows you to do similar functions, to the same functions that you did on Ethereum, but at a cheaper rate and at a faster rate. That's Polymatic. And then you have Chainlink, which is the Oracle, which acts as a service that pretty much intertwines the values of every cryptocurrency's true value and connects them. How can I? It says it right there. It provides accurate data, whether it be information or price action for every cryptocurrency that's connected within on-chain link. That's the purpose. It's an oracle, right? It provides that service. So that's its utility. Provides real-time data in that function, right? And then you have Uni-Swap, which is a decentralized exchange or a DEX. So Uni-Swap was, I believe, the first decentralized exchange that was extremely popular, and it was developed on Ethereum. And this is a utility project, a utility token, right? It gives the function of swapping, staking, yield farming, all these different things that we see as normal. But Uniswap was one of the first ones to do it, and effectively, right? And then you have Decentraland, which is a metaverse token, right? It was one of the first metaverse tokens besides Engine, and then you see Sandbox is the granddaddy of them all right now. But Decentraland, it is a metaverse token. That's its utility. And like I just mentioned, Engine, that's a metaverse project also. But Engine has a few other functions. But Engine is also a blockchain in itself, also meaning it's a coin. So you can build upon Engine's blockchain, right? And then you have go ahead, bro.
So like when you're talking about utility tokens, you're basically saying like when it comes to like investing into cryptocurrency, or when you want to dive in, of course you want to research, check out every single social media page that they may have and things of that nature, their discourse. You want to do extensive research, getting on YouTube and seeing what other people has researched as well and research them. Um, excuse me. But when investing into cryptocurrency, basically that's one of the first things Art, that you're telling us that you advise us to do is like look to see if they have any type of utility, basically anything that's going to enhance like cryptocurrency, anything that we see like in real life, like how we see refrigerators getting innovated and they talk back to us and they do certain things that they have Bluetooth play music to us, and how we have all these kind of different gadgets, like we have AirPods now with no wires and things of that nature, how we continue to innovate and continue to upgrade on things. Is that what we're looking for when we're looking for a project like innovation, and basically what's the solution for cryptocurrency? What's the solution that cryptocurrency may have? Because I know that there's a lot of like competitors and competition when you were talking about like Ethereum having competition to like say like Cardano or Solana, things of that nature. Is that also like because I feel like that's what I'm getting from that. Is that also like what you're telling us?
Yeah, most definitely. So when looking into any of these projects that you're looking to invest into, you have to identify how you're gonna interact with that token or coin, right? Meaning, if it's a utility token, like get to the nitty gritty and understand the function, and if it provides a function that is if it provides a function that's like advancing the technology, right? Or if it's like a function that 1,000 other tokens do, like maybe that's not, you know what I'm saying, worth investing into. Like maybe we have too many of those that are doing the same function. Like when Facebook changed its name to Meta, right? Shortly after, you seen every token out there being posted and made said metaverse something, right? 99% of those are gonna go to zero. And that's because they were just jumping on the wave and just trying to, it was more of a cash grab. Yeah, they put up some fancy pictures and some little creative 3D art where it looks like they're in the metaverse, but they may never come to fruition. So that's why you identify key things when you're looking into these utility projects, and we'll dig deeper into this when we in one of our later classes. But you want to look into various things like partnerships, like how well are they backed? You know, when you're looking into utility projects, did they receive a grant from the blockchain that they're developing on? Like, you can find all this information in Medium articles. You can find this information within a white paper if they speak of it. Then other key things you want to see if they're fully doxed and understand that who these people are and if they had experience in the sector that they're developing in, right? So it's a lot of things that go into making the decision on if you want to invest into specific utility tokens. But I appreciate that question though, Moody. Just to kind of add to what the utility tokens are and how to best like decipher which ones are best or what to get into or whatnot. But let me see.
Absolutely. I just always remember like you always educating me and letting me know that it's okay to, it's not that it's okay, but you know, you can have fun and invest into like meme tokens or tokens that you may hear you know, on Twitter or online, but once you hear it, it's already a little too late. But you always told me to like invest into blockchain tokens and good utility tokens. So that's why I was asking that question because I think that is very important. That when you're coming into the journey of cryptocurrency, that you don't just hear about and Doge is actually, you know, building out to become a great token, and it's having a lot of utilities created for it, right? And when we talk about utilities, you could take that in a form of like once you hear Tesla saying that they may accept Doge as a form of payment, but you also hear that's speculatory, right? But when you also hear that AMC is now accepting it as a form of payment in other companies, that's a utility behind that token now because there's going to be a certain demand for it, right? But something that's very important to understand about cryptocurrency is, well, I can use Bitcoin and Doge, is oh, dang, what's the word I'm looking for? The circulating no, I'm thinking of the word, the circulating supply. What is the circulating supply of that token, right? And when I say that, it's like Doge is like the dollar. Doge can can continually be printed out. There's no limit amount of how much Doge there is, just like the American dollar, right? Now, for instance, Bitcoin, and there's many more other tokens just like it, there's a cap on that where there some tokens there may be only 100 million tokens, you know, and basically when I'm saying that is scarcity, right? When you know for a fact that once there's no more of this token, there will be demand for that token, right, or that coin. Um, so I just wanted to add to that, and thank you for answering my question, bro.
All right, most definitely. And just to add on to what Moody's speaking about relating to Doge, that was the last type of these are the last type of tokens or coins that I wanted to talk about is the meme tokens, right? These are likely the most popular projects out there, but they are the most riskier assets to get into because a lot of them, 95 to 99% of them will go to zero because people are playing on the heartstrings, the emotions of people with these little characters. Like they're creating these tokens and saying that we're building a charity to clean the oceans, or we're, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to provide a utility which within the project, but they don't never deliver on it, you know. So, but there's a place for meme tokens, right? You have projects that go from meme token to actually a utility token, right? And Moody just mentioned Dogecoin. Dogecoin is the meme of, is the granddaddy of all meme tokens. But what I like about Dogecoin, this is my opinion, right? In some fact, what I like about Dogecoin is it stood the test of time amongst all of these cryptocurrencies, and it didn't have anybody consistently developing on it. And now you have people like the likes of Vitalik Buterin, which is Ethereum's co-founder, which is now like he's top dog in Ethereum. He's now assisting Elon Musk to develop on Dogecoin in a sense, right? And so that gives me like some it gives me like some light thinking about Dogecoin. Like it could potentially be bigger than it is right now. So like I've not turned the lights off on Dogecoin because of the connections that it has. And then you look at the latest, I would say, love with Shiba Inu. I done got in so many fights with people on the internet about Shiba Inu, but so Shiba Inu, you know, it came out of nowhere and it was deemed like the Dogecoin killer, right? And I like some of the dynamics of Shiba. Early on, they were developing all these different functions and utilities, but a lot of those functions were to sustain the payout that they were giving in Shiba Inu to their holders. A lot of those things that they were doing were to continue to pay out, and it wasn't really like an innovative change to crypto in its entirety, right? So that's why you see a lot of people, they fall in love with Shiba Inu when they're up, but then they come crashing down. They're like, what do I do? But I'm not gonna fight with nobody about Shiba Inu tonight. I'm gonna leave that alone. But then you look at these other ones. Some of these, the Doge, Elon Musk, like that thing, it's still sustained. You look at the market cap, is one of the highest market caps still at 363 million. Like, and it's a straight meme. It's Doge, Coin, Elon, Mars all together, but it's still sustainable with a 363 million market cap, which makes it still prominent, right? But then you look at these others. I've never even heard of Shiba Predator, but there's tons of them, and they're being created.
One thing, real quick, D'Angelo, one thing I do want to say about meme tokens, I don't suggest people to invest into them, but once you've been in cryptocurrency for a while and you got a nice portfolio and stuff like that, or you just have money to play with, what I like to do with meme tokens are pump and dump. And the only reason why is because there's only been a few meme tokens that I've been very successful with, and other ones, I don't call them successful because I just made a little bit of money with it, not much. And it's only because I only put a little bit of money in it, right? So what I learned in my experience, like over a year in investing into in both markets, right, cryptocurrency and as well into options trading. When you hear Elon Musk and it's just coming out and people just started talking about it at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, you hear people talking about it. You know, if you're willing to lose a little bit of money that you are investing into it, like if you want to invest into it, right? But look at that just like an option contract. But there's no time decay on it, but look at it just like that. As soon as you see a profit, take your money, right? Hey, it may keep running just like when we're trading options, right? But trust me, it will come down and you'll be like, whew, I'm glad I took that little bit of profit. You know, you may see a 50x, a 10x, a 30x, a 100x on one of these meme tokens, and and it can change your life, but some people will stay there holding the bag. And the reason I say that is because when you hear Elon Musk talking about Doge, like back last year, talking about Doge token, what I understood was, oh my God, this man is super smart. Yeah, he may be a whale in Doge or something like that, but he has money to play with. He's telling the world to buy a Doge token, right? Y'all make y'all some profits because it's gonna be crumbs to him, right? Y'all make y'all some profits, and what I'm gonna do is continue to dump my money into Bitcoin, and that's when you're seeing when that run up was not because of Elon Musk. I forgot how much he had put in there. I think it was like 20 million or something like that, or billion. I forgot. But long story short, that's what I started understanding with all these entertainers and famous people or someone that has an influencer, right? That has some type of following. They will talk about one of these meme tokens because they understand that they're putting a good amount of money behind it, 50, 100, a couple of million, right? Where as soon as that price action starts to jump, their money's just jumping. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you hear about a lot of rug pulls and things of that nature, just like Squid Games. You know, people are capitalizing off of emotions, right? And capitalizing on the fact that, hey, this is new. This is just like when the internet came out, right? And the reason I say that is because when the internet came out, you had smart people that were buying um BillGates.com or whatever, Apple.com. I know I'm talking about later companies, but I just can't think Napster. You know what I'm saying? People were buying these domain names and selling them back to these companies, right? Because they were gonna have to come back, and these were the geeks that understood computers that were on it before all of us, right? So that's what cryptocurrency also is right now. And when we're talking about meme tokens, and even say NFTs, that's what people are doing right now. They're taking advantage of the fact that they know that there's a wave right now and people are desperate for money. People are desperate, through COVID-19 to find a come up and things of that nature. So they're playing off of those emotions. So what you do to those scammers is play off of their emotions, ride their wave and jump right out, right? And that's what these whales and these people are doing. Because when you see the market cap just increasing, yeah, it's decreasing right now in cryptocurrency, but when you see that increasing, also keep in mind it's just like the stock market. These people are taking their profits from buying a token that was super under a penny. I'm talking about a fraction of it, and it almost hit a penny, or it could have went over a penny. And they're taking that profit and putting it into, of course, stable coins, so their money won't fluctuate when you're investing properly. But they're putting it into like Ethereum, um, Cardano, Solana, Bitcoin. They're putting it into tokens that have good utilities, right? And it goes the same way with NFTs. You know, if you're investing, and I know D'Angelo's talking more so about meme tokens, and this class is not about NFTs, but I just want to throw it out there. It's about the utility. It's about what it's like a private club. What access do I gain from buying this when it comes to NFTs? Do I get a a white listing? Do I get free access to something? Do I get some free airdrops? You know what I'm saying? It's just like the ape token when it came out. You know what I'm saying? All those people that became rich from having a Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT, and some people that held them. Those people knew, like, yes, the company was talking about developing a token and things of that nature, and then we also knew that it was coming out. But the early investors, like how you've seen all these entertainers and actors buying into it, it's a club. They knew. They already knew, and that's why the rich becomes richer and the poor becomes poorer. And it's not that money don't sleep. You just have to look at what's happening and then ask questions. And the reason I explained it that way is because D'Angelo is very humble, and he's never, in my opinion, gonna say this, but he's a blockchain developer. He develops cryptocurrencies. Like, he's on a large board. He does a lot of um I like to call it rabbit holes, moody buzz, buzz, rabbit holes. But and that's why I love picking his brain and asking him questions because I know he's very humble and he's gonna not that he's not gonna talk too much, but if you don't ask him those questions, he's not gonna know like how to help you. And just want to give you flowers in this class too, bro. I just want to thank you for helping change my life and for helping me invest into great cryptocurrencies and even in the stock market and helping me with charts as well. But definitely people ask him questions because he will pour into you and tell you exactly what you need to know.
Likewise, bro. I appreciate you, man. And just to continue with what Moody was saying, yeah, it's this cryptocurrency space is very diverse. Like I said, we went through a few different types of various types of crypto coins and tokens. I want to kind of close out here a little bit, but I want to cover a few websites that I periodically go on and use. One that I'm currently on right now, which is CoinMarketCap, which it's not my preferred data aggregator, and that's what they're called. CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, they're data aggregators, meaning they collect all the information relating to these projects and they push the data out for us to see it in their application. But on CoinMarketCap, you have a plethora of different things that you can use on here. Well, you can find here, you can see the smart contract for this particular project, which is bakery token. You can see all the market data. You can see what wallets are holding the project. You can actually go onto the BNB chain and pull up the Explorer, where you can actually see the transactions being made. Now, I prefer using this most of the time on my phone because it's a lot easier to kind of just run through stuff. But on the desktop or laptop, you have a little bit more functionality sometimes where you can see more information. But CoinMarketCap is here, and then you have CoinGecko, which is my preferred data aggregator that I look at because I like the way it displays primarily on the phone. But you can see the same information here. You can set alerts for different projects. You can put your portfolio in here and track it. Also through CoinGecko, I think you can do the same on CoinMarketCap.
Hey, D'Angelo, I know you're about to close it out. Quick question. Are you gonna give classes on how to use these platforms and like how to use them properly and research and how to research different types of cryptocurrencies, like using them and things of that nature?
Most definitely. That's one of the classes that's coming up in the coming months. Like I'm gonna teach how I specifically research, what things I look for, what particular things that'll stand out. And I'll be like, that's a green flag for me. Like this is go time. Like I like what they're building. Like I'm gonna teach those things specifically so you know how to identify early projects. I don't know how many early projects like I've been told like Moody about or just different people about, and we get in and they run. Now I done had some duds too, I'll tell you that, but it was more so not because of my research ability, but because the team in which that built it, it was more of a cash grab. So we got robbed a little bit from time to time, but it happens in this space because it's like the wild, wild west, right? But yeah, I'm definitely gonna teach on how I do my research and the tools that I use to find different things, right? But I'm gonna keep going. So this is CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. Those are data aggregators. This is where you get the bulk of your information. You can find a website for your projects. You can find the white paper. You can find everything relating to every project that's listed on these different platforms, right? So I use this website called Token Sniffer, right? I use this as a tool to identify potential scams smart contract stamps. You can literally come and post a smart contract in this address, and it'll show you all of the different copycats or carbon copies of that same smart contract that has been deemed a scam or a rug pull, where people just consistently go over and over and just recreate the same smart contract and put a new name on it. So this is a great tool. And as you can see, these are the different blockchains that it supports. So you can go find a contract, which you can go to CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and find a contract for each. Matter of fact, I'll go here real quick and let's see. I'm not gonna search it, but where this thing at? Real quick. Actually, I had it right here with this BNB chain. We'll go back here and pull up. We'll pull up BT Finance. It'll be on there. So yeah, you could come here, copy the smart contract, and bro, we're listening to you slow sometimes. So you copy that address. I hope it copied. You come back to Token Sniffer and you paste it here in the address. And hit enter, and it'll display any copycats, any projects that were created before that were deemed a scam. It'll give you it'll give you a like quick audit of the project. And as you can see, primarily, Uni-Swap is not a rug pull. It's been around for some time. Like, it's very trusted. This is a red flag here on a project that's very new. And if you see somebody that holds a significant amount of tokens in the supply, that's a red flag that it could potentially be a rug pull. These are the other contracts that are similar to BT Finance that were created before or after that project. So this is a great tool to identify potential scams early on, right? And then you can do your charting on TradingView just like you do any other financial market, which we have here. This is a class that I really want. I'm probably going to do this very, very soon, because I like for all of us to be able to take advantage of investing into crypto, but then borrowing against that asset. And this is a powerful tool. Y'all just know this. Mark this one down. Don't miss this class. Aave is a powerful tool where you can borrow against your asset. That asset that you borrowed against can then, when the asset appreciates, can pay back the loan that you borrowed, and that asset that you borrowed to take with you, you can keep that too. This is a powerful tool. And I'm going to teach that. I taught it, well, I had someone teach it previously, but I'm going to do a thorough overview of this, and I want everyone to be in attendance for this, because this is where you can actually make your crypto make money for you consistently, right? And then this is Pancake Swap, which is Binance Smart Chain's primary decentralized exchange, where you can do a multitude of things, where you can swap tokens. And I didn't know they had this function yet, but I guess you could do limit orders now with swapping tokens. You could do yield farming, which I'll explain that later on in another class that's a little bit more advanced for beginner. You can do single asset liquidity pools, where you receive yield, meaning you'll receive an APR, APY rate of like this cake and BNB pair. You'll yield 33.39% off of your investment. Now, a year ago, this probably would have said 300%. Those days are gone. And as we continue into crypto, you'll see these numbers particularly go down, right? We still have some out here, but I don't know what duet is. It's likely not a very liquid asset. That's why the APR is still extremely high. So, but this is another way that you can allow you to put your asset in a place and allow it to make more assets for you. I won't just say money, but it'll make more assets by quantity, and then over time, the value will appreciate also. So they have other things where you can do a lottery. I think they had some type of like, yeah, it was a lottery, and then now they have an NFT platform also. So there's a multitude of things you can do in this crypto space. I hope I did a great overview of kind of like an introduction into what we have going on. I will expect me to like periodically just jump on live, and if I have something like that's hot or in particular on my mind, I'll be pushing out more information that's not just stiff like this, where it's just overview, but something that's a little bit more enticing, like opportunities to capitalize on in the near future in our server. So, but yeah, before we go, I do want to open the floor for any questions. If y'all have any, we can touch on those, and we can push forward and keep building from here. Like I always want to tell y'all, I'm a student first. Like I do enjoy teaching this information and providing the latest and greatest in crypto, but I'm always a student first. I continue to learn. I continue to learn from others. I don't know everything, right? I don't know everything, but I strive to learn more and more every day. So if y'all sometimes may have a perspective that is different from mine, I'm not overly rigid on what I believe. Like this space is very fluid. So you could come to me tomorrow and ask me about something relating to crypto, and I may have did some studies and learned about something that kind of changed my perspective or swayed it. Like that happens because we're still so early, even though we aren't first to market early anymore, but we're still early because the adoption rate of crypto is still not significant as it would be if everybody wasn't calling it a scam most of the time. But yeah, the floor is open. Y'all ask any questions. If we don't have any questions within a minute or two, then we'll hop off this thing. And I just want to say I appreciate all of y'all in attendance.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Felipe says, can you make this video ready for replay? Yes, so I'm saving, it's recording currently. So soon as I have it so I can upload it, it will be posted inside the Discord server. So there's no worries about that. It'll be available most definitely. All right, cool. No problem, bro. No problem.
Man, I can't wait to really teach them, man. Teach every single person and just continue to learn from you, bro. Like, we got a lot of things in store for you guys. I promise you that.
Oh yeah, most definitely, bro. And then I'm gonna work on getting. I don't know if I still sound muffled, but I'm gonna work on getting my sound right. So y'all don't worry about that. That's a minor hiccup, but I'll take care of that. I know that was an issue early on, and it could still be. I can't really tell. But yeah, it don't look like we have any more questions. Y'all feel free to hit me anytime in the Discord, whether it be yeah, I got a question. I'm gonna hit you with an answer, Marvin Green, in just a second. But y'all feel free to hit me in the Discord server anytime, whether it be in the DMs or in the public forum. Like just hit me, ask a question, give me a perspective. Like no matter what it is, a chart, however it may be, and I'll give you my clear thoughts on it. So Marvin Green asks, what are my thoughts on Safu? So I haven't thoroughly dug into Safu, right? But let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I've seen
while D-Wiz is closing this class out, everybody that's on the class really appreciate you, and can y'all please, it helps us bring a good learning experience to you guys and know what to do better. Can you please drop your feedback and what you think about the class, whether it's good or bad? Really appreciate y'all. Thank you. And thank you as well, D-Wiz. Sorry for interrupting.
Most definitely, bro. I appreciate you. So I've been seeing Safu like constantly in different like Facebook groups. I mean, I'm a part of one Facebook group and they push Safu very hard. What I'd like to ask, and I'll dig into this and I'll give my perspective on it inside the server. But I'd like to ask, what is the true utility of Safu? Like I've seen like they have partnerships where you see the Safu logo on different like racing events or on cars and stuff like that. Like that's active promotion, but what is the actual utility? I know it also provides like a crazy like yield back to the holders, but I also want to ask like, is that truly sustainable if they're not completely innovative? So just be when looking into projects like this, like ask yourself, is this truly sustainable if they're not providing the advance in technology that's gonna keep piling people in? Or is it like quote unquote like the Ponzi scheme, where the more people pile in, those people are paying for the people who are already been there? You know what I'm saying? So just look at it like that. But I'm gonna dig into Safu, bro, and I'm gonna give you some feedback in the Discord server most definitely, because I haven't did a thorough review of it. But I do believe, what is this price? I thought I just seen this thing just, oh yeah, see that's not pretty. Just the other day it was like 115 when I heard somebody talking about it and it said $48. Yeah, I don't think I like Safu just looking at it. I don't know if it's sustainable, but I'm gonna give you some clear feedback. So, but yeah, I'm a kill it.
One thing before you close it out that I'm seeing right there, just seeing the contract information. That's a Binance token, is a BNB based token, right? So look into it. The reason I say that is because a lot of the meme tokens and trash tokens and rug pull tokens are on the Binance blockchain, right? And then one little quick thing that I learned from D-Wiz was, if you don't know nothing about crypto, like I would just pick his brain and just be like, hey bro, like talk to me like I don't know nothing. I know I'm learning, but talk to me like I don't know nothing. He'd be like, if it's not on Coinbase, don't touch it. You know, if it's not on like an exchange like crypto.com, Coinbase, don't touch it, right? And he specifically talked about those two exchanges because those are the most popular exchanges, right? So you may go on KuCoin. I say Q, yeah, you'll go on KuCoin and find other ones that may not be on crypto.com or Coinbase, right? And KuCoin's been there a little longer, but people think about fear and greed and what makes people feel a little more safer. People are going to feel more safer about Coinbase and crypto.com because you see advertisement and you see that all over the place, right? So also the government has their hand tied like into exchanges, right? That's why they can tax you off of it. That's why they're asking you, hey, have you invested in the cryptocurrency on your taxes? Now, I think it started last year. But long story short, dang, I kind of lost my train of thought. But oh, that's what I was trying to say. With like the exchanges, the government, we all know they're conniving, but they're not just. I'm not gonna say that. I haven't seen myself a token or a coin that's on crypto.com or Coinbase become a rug pull. Yeah, it may have lost a lot of value to it, but it is definitely not a rug pull.
most definitely. And I agree with you, and I'm sure I said that, Moody, but what I say is that is good practice for somebody that's not purchased cryptocurrency at all before. Definitely go with a more high quality exchange like a crypto.com or Coinbase, and purchase some tokens there. Like there's another layer outside of that that you don't want to leave your tokens on an exchange, but that's another advanced level in the crypto where you get into self-custody. But definitely, if you want to be safe to some degree, quote unquote, buy on those given exchanges. You may not get that 1,000% gain, but well, definitely now with the market being so red, you have a better opportunity to have a safer investment because Coinbase doesn't just pick up trash tokens or coins. Like they vet their projects very well. Crypto.com does also. So that would be a safer bet. Now, not all of them are. So you will need to do your research, which I'm going to provide a thorough research class so you understand how to research. I'm going to look into this Safu, but
I got one question, bro. Before you go, I know you want to get off, but just give me like 5 minutes. What's your take on hot and cold wallets? Are you more into like, do you prefer which one? I mean, I prefer a cold wallet. Just because I work in cybersecurity, so I'm familiar with all the cybersecurity attacks and all that stuff. So, but what's your take on it? I know exchanges like Coinbase, PayPal, some of those exchanges are uses hot wallet. Of course, it's on a I think asymptomatic encryption. But like, what's your take on it?
Yeah, so I believe to be effective in storing your crypto, you should have both. Like you should interact with all three, right? You'll need to interact with these exchanges, which will be somewhat of a hot wallet in a sense, but it's not really a wallet because they own all your crypto. Like if you don't have the private keys to the assets that you hold, you really don't hold them, meaning on that exchange. Now, when you have a hot wallet or a DeFi wallet or a Web3 wallet, those are self-custody wallets, meaning that you own those assets because they're backed by this private key that you also own, right? But another level of security would be having a cold storage or hard wallet. Now, they all have their inherent risks, meaning that with an exchange, like I said, you don't own those assets. There's a documentary on Netflix right now about an exchange in Canada called Quadriga X, CX, like that.
Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
So it's still likely under investigation relating to this story, but supposedly, like the owner, the creator, like he ran off, he died of some illness, but he ran off with everybody's crypto from that exchange. Like we're not void of somebody doing something like that or something occurring where they aren't capable of giving you your assets because most of these exchanges aren't FDIC approved. Like, so you don't actually own those assets. Now, when you have, so that's a vulnerability, you know what I'm saying? But then you look at the hot wallets, there's been instances where hot wallets have been hacked, right? There's been instances where these hot wallets, they have similar like exploits that which the exchange will have, because at the end of the day, you still are interacting with a entity that created this application. That application could have bugs in it that could over time be exploitable by a backdoor by some degree, right? That's with a hot wallet. And then you have an exploit with having a cold storage or hard wallet, where in some cases it's not as interoperable with a lot of the decentralized exchanges or the dApps or decentralized applications that are out there. So you have some issues with that, but the primary issue that you'll see with somebody having a hard wallet, a cold storage wallet, is the fact that you lack physical security. Now, people don't talk about this often, but you lack physical security, meaning that if you have 100 Bitcoin sitting on this hard storage wallet and you like to talk about it, you may have somebody kicking in your back door, you know what I'm saying? And then asking you or forcing you to, you know what I'm saying, open that wallet and send all your crypto into another wallet. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have that physical security. So all of them have inherent risks. It's just, you have to be smart about utilizing all of them. Me personally, I don't leave anything on an exchange. I do have assets sitting in a hot wallet. But I'm not willing to allow a significant amount of my assets to sit in a hot wallet also. So those assets that I deem not tradable, that I'm gonna hodl for life, I put those, like Bitcoin, onto a cold storage or hard wallet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, I'm more into the cold wallets because I have, hold on, buddy. I have the you know, the private key. So I'm familiar with that from a security standpoint. And I just, me personally, because I work in cybersecurity, I know that any exchange, any website, any company can be hacked. And it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. We've seen like some of the banks, you know, banks get hacked all the time. They have encrypted databases, encrypted networks and stuff like that. So that's just my take on it, just because I'm exposed to that environment. But yeah, I just wanted to hear, like, you know, what's your take on it?
You know, I agree with all those facts. Like, it's not a possibility of if, but when, most definitely. And it may not affect you, but it could affect somebody that you know that's on that same exchange or wallet. But if you have a cold storage wallet, you're kind of void of that. And then you just have the inherent risk of not, you know, keeping your which I call a pro tip, keeping your assets to yourself. Like, don't disclose the amount of tokens, coins that you hold to anybody by quantity. Like, don't do that. That's a rule. Take that and ride with it. Do not disclose your crypto holdings in any environment, whether it be your next door neighbor or anybody that you disclose over the internet. Like, I see people all the time saying, yeah, I got 1 billion of this. Okay, and then the next day it goes to it goes to a penny from 5 zeros behind the decimal point, to the right of the decimal. It goes to a penny, and now you got a ton of money. And now your neighbor comes hitting you across the head because they heard about it and they saw what it did also. You know, you got to protect yourself. And I know it sounds like it's not a possibility. It's already happened, you know, and that's what comes with being a self-custodian or a sole custodian of your assets, which most people aren't familiar with doing. So, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I appreciate the participation. I appreciate you, Moody, bro, having my back in this and adding to the value of the information that I'm trying to put out here. And let's keep rocking, man. Let's keep earning. Let's keep learning, and let's keep building with this thing. And I'm gonna leave it there, man. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you, bro, and thank you for
Yeah,
everything.
thanks, bro. Appreciate your knowledge, bro.
Definitely.
Hey, everybody, y'all see Bitcoin? I hope y'all shorted it. We just broke 30K.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right, y'all. Y'all be easy now.
You too, bro. Thank you.